Good afternoon, everyone. I have to warn you, this is going to be a technical talk, which means like 30% of you will not understand it, sorry. But I'm kind of forced to do that because, as you remember, some presentations last year turned into this dog and pony show, and our team obviously can't compete in those beauty contests. We're also not the kind of people you would put in a Schibsted promotional video either, because apparently we don't have any cool hobbies, you know, like karate or unicycles. But it turns out we're quite good at improvements and innovation. That happened as a side effect of us thinking, how can we make people to click more ads? Which is kind of a downer, but you can do worse than that. You can be, for example, a mascot shoveling snow outside. Which brings me to the topic of FastenOSS, which is the umbrella term for our open source libraries. And we don't have much time today, so I'm just going to give you 3 samples of our work. As you can see in this stolen iStock photo, we've been drinking microservices Kool-Aid for quite some time, which means we have some client apps talking to some APIs. And it seems to be a solved problem in such Node.js with such Node.js libraries until you meet this guy. And he's been using APIs for some time, and he warns you, APIs are flaky. And he's actually right, APIs are flaky. So you have to retry failed requests. But it's not available in such Node.js library. I don't know why. But that's not the end of the story, because another day, someone writes a very popular article about this old man who's been posting his letters into a dog poo box. And now it's like fascinating news, and all the foreign media pick it up. And suddenly you get like 100 requests at the same time, and you think, I'm just going to pass those requests to the API. And then you realize there's a slower technology on the other side. So you better collapse all those requests into one, and API will like you again. But again, it's not the end of the story, because another day, a team leader decided to show juniors how to write code. And you know, now juniors are fixing everything, as they always do. But until they fix the issues, wouldn't it be nice if you could detect those problems and open the circuit and stop hammering the API with more requests? And finally, when you get your API response back, well, you better cache it, because you never know when bad things happen again. So wouldn't it be nice if we could solve all those problems automatically? Well, now we can with Good Guy HTTP. Good Guy sees your request fail, he retries it for you. But not only retries, it can collapse and cache and circuit break, and hopefully in the next version it's going to be able to pick up your children from the kindergarten at 4 p.m. Of course, if you trust him. Now, the second open source project. So sometimes you have some awesome content, and you want to enhance it with additional content, like headers and footers. And it seems to be a solved problem, on the server side at least, with the ESI include standard. You define those tags, and then you process them on Varnish or Nginx. And they include those fragments onto your page. But here's the thing. When I'm on my local machine, well, I don't want to install those cuties. I want to make a function call, simples. And now I can, with Node ESI, one library to ESI include them all. And the last thing I want to talk about is Heroku automation. So Heroku has a very, very sleek UI. You look at those purple buttons, and every time you click them, it gives you this warm, fuzzy feeling inside. But here's the problem. We love this repetitive work, and it's like our predecessors. They were like banging rocks. We are banging our keyboards. But here are some wise words. Clicking does not scale, and clicking is not auditable. And I couldn't recall who said those words, so maybe this gentleman said that. Or maybe it was Douglas Crockford of the JavaScript fame, who knows? Or maybe it was just me. Anyway, there's this tool called Terraform, and it promises no more clicking. Awesome, right? They have like a really, really shiny website. There's one problem, though. It doesn't work, at least for Heroku. So what to do? So when Terraform fails, it's time to reach for some hard stuff. It's time to reach for Heroin, Heroku infrastructure as a code. One JavaScript function that takes a JavaScript object describing your entire infrastructure on Heroku and builds it for you. And the cool thing is that there's no DSL here. This is JavaScript. This is like Java for those people under 30 years old. So it's cool. So yeah, those are our libraries. But here's the takeaway for you guys. Don't be this anonymous guy in the crowd. Don't be a cheerleader. Stop drooling over other people's innovation. Stop drooling over Netflix OSS, Facebook OSS. Be the guy on stage. Look at your own problems, and the chances are that your own problems are much simpler than you think. And very often, you can solve them with very simple libraries, as we do. Thank you. Go and build awesome stuff.